Last time on MasterChef Australia.
Your challenge is simple, but gonna be hectic.
For the final challenge in Tasmania, Sam and Andy battle it out to stay in the competition.
It's rock and roll, come on.
But an outstanding effort saw both avoid elimination.
My old man said don't come home if you cry, and that was close.
Tonight, we return to the MasterChef kitchen for a masterclass.
Right, time to bring some excitement back in the kitchen.
Gary whips up a very quick roast rack of pork.
It just goes to show how easy it is to cook good food.
And George gets scientific, serving salmon 2 ways.
That is what makes me happy.
Then, special guest, UK master baker Lorraine Pescale stops by.
Pay attention, Bo.
Yep.
I've got my own news.
I hope so.
To finish up with a wickedly sweet treat.
I'm not a cake fan, but I think you've converted me.
Burning up in my heart like a flame, like a brighter shooting star in our souls. We all know our dreams make us who we are. We got today, so spin me round and show me the way back to burning up in my heart like a flame, like a brighter shooting star in our souls. We all know our dreams make us who we are.
Hey, hey! Welcome back.
Morning. In you go.
Good morning. How are we?
Well, welcome to Masterclass once again. You had a massive week. By all accounts, a huge week. Tasmania, glorious countryside, Ben's home turf. Loved it. Did you enjoy yourselves?
Yeah.
Learn an enormous amount. And of course, we had some big surprises. We did Salamanca markets. We found ourselves on the jetty at Kettering. And then the elimination challenge. Well, what happened there?
You needed to be there, guys.
Tell me. I leave you for half a day, and look what happens.
Andy and Sam, wow, you battled it out in the kitchen. But can I tell you, it wasn't really a battle because the two of you supported each other and you put out beautiful food for 100 people.
Thank you so much, man. Thanks,
Well done.
Thanks.
How good was that?
Sam, how did you go? Describe it. Did you get something of the adrenaline that we get when we're in the kitchen, you know?
Yeah, it was 6 hours of adrenaline, and it just never stopped. I couldn't feel my body or anything. It was just in the moment and in the zone, and
Slept well?
very well.
Well, let's get cracking. George, I'll kick off. I'll see you a bit later.
See you soon.
Ciao. Right, time to bring some excitement back in the kitchen, because adrenaline, that's what it's all about. Are you noticing I'm just getting a bit wound up? You know, I'm like a tiger in the cage. And in my own kitchen, I do a bit of pacing, because it's a pre-service thing, because you need a little bit of adrenaline in a commercial kitchen to get, 100 covers, and you've got to bash them all out in half an hour. So you've got to be fast, you've got to be organised, you've got to clean down, and it's about multitasking. So this next little bit in Masterclass is about multitasking. It's about that big round thing up there, which is the clock. Notice where it's sitting. Where's it sitting? So guess what? Whatever I'm about to cook, I've got to do it in 30 minutes, all right? And yeah, look, I've set a few things up, but essentially what I want to show you is that you can manage your time, you can keep clean. Mindy, we have problems sometimes keeping clean, don't we?
Occasionally.
Occasionally.
Under
I love
pressure,
that.
under pressure,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And once you lose your system, once you lose where the oil is, the salt is, where your pans are, it all just... And you watch that clock and we're shouting 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and it is... We smile sometimes, but we know exactly how you feel. And it's as relevant for you in the kitchen here at MasterChef as it is for, mums and dads, etc., and kids at home, right? And it's about organising yourselves and doing jobs in order in terms of how long they take to cook. Got it? Yeah. So you're going to keep me under the pump. Who's going to watch the clock? Everybody. Right. So let's kick it off. We did the pork mystery box challenge before we went away to Tassie, and there were some great dishes, but you could have done more. You had a pork chop, you could have made it a bit more interesting. So I'm going to revisit that. And basically, I've got a lovely piece of pork. So I'm going to do pork with braised vegetables, farro, pepitas, and a date puree. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Your time starts now.
So I've got 2. This is what I would do in the challenge, right? You get a piece of pork, you can buy it like this, or you get a cutlet, you can trim it up, and maybe you should give yourself 2 options, because you never know. And you guys are starting to learn that. Can't do it at home, but I've got a little baby pork rack. I'm just going to season that up. I reckon about that. So let's get that on the gas. Let's get that on the gas. And you'll see what I'm prepping up in a second. Don't have a lid. Let's pop that on. That can start off render down. I'll leave that for a second because that's going onto the pork fat side, so that's nice and easy. And then I've got some farro. It's an old grain farro. Should be a little bit chewy, and that'll take about 20 minutes to cook, we hope. So I'm just going to put that in water. And remember, you're cooking for 1, all right? Remember that. So we're starting to get a bit of heat build up in the pan. I'm going to keep that on that skin so it goes nice and coloured, and I'll put that cutlet in and start to seal that, all right? So, preparation of the vegetables. Pick what you think you need to make the dish work, right? And then little tips like this. Use a tray to peel on. And I want to peel them into little cylinders, so I'm actually going to take down one side of the carrot. So it's pretty much the same thickness all the way through. So guess what? It's going to cook evenly. Nice bit of colour. Just keeps all the rubbish in one spot, right? And then you can just scoop this off into the bin. All right, so that's my first job. Andrew, you're actually quite good at time management. What do you keep an eye on when you're cooking away?
I am very conscious of what's going to take the longest.
Yep.
And try and keep things to a minimum because it is pretty much just one serve, as you said.
Yeah, good idea. And that's the way it works. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these in the oven at the same time, all right? But I'm going to take this out first. So guesses on how long that's going to take to cook? 4 minutes, at a guess. 20 minutes for that one. Need to check this in 5 to make sure it's not caramelising. So relatively hot oven, 200 degrees. Moving on. So let's try and get ourselves organised. This fresh artichoke. So what I want to do is peel off a few of the outside leaves first, just to make it easy for me to saw through. And what it does is it reveals the choke, which is the bit you want. And let's cut these chokes. See, the pork's in, so I'm okay.
Gary, are you quartering those just so they cook quicker, or...?
Yeah, absolutely. That is dead spot on. I ain't going to cook them whole, because in half an hour, I ain't going to get anything done. You'd agree, right?
Gary, I hope you don't choke under the pressure.
I'm just going to trim those down, pop those in. You've got to remember that it oxidises. So a little bit of lemon is going to help keep that nice and clean and white. Oop. All right, now I need a little wipe down, get rid of my peeler, all the dirty stuff. All right, because I've got to keep clean because otherwise it's going to drag me down towards the end of the challenge. I've got a couple of shallots that have peeled, so I want to just slice those. Okay, vegetables are prepared, so now I'm going to braise them in a pan with a little water and a splash of olive oil. Just create a little oven, all right? And I'm going to get that cooking. So don't forget what I'm cooking. It's roasted pork rack with braised vegetables, farro, pepitas, and a date puree. I'm going to make a date puree. So I'm just actually taking the seeds, the stones out of the dates, all right? I don't need a huge amount, but what I need to do is bring that to the boil, soften it up, and then blend it, all right? And pass it. A little bit of that boiling water. And I'm going to get that cooking.
That pork chop's been in the oven for a while.
It has, over 4 minutes, in fact. So, that pork chop, gee, that's beautiful.
We'll be the judge of that.
And then we're going to put this rack back in, all right? That chop's my insurance in case the rack doesn't cook in time. And again, a bit of a tidy up because always you need a little bit of a space just to be able to plate up, all right? And think about what you're doing and what you've got together.
15 minutes, Gary.
So, dates, yeah, soft.
Oh.
It doesn't have to be super smooth because I'm going to pass it, all right? Now, I'm going to make a vinaigrette. So I want a little bit of the date puree and a little bit of the date vinegar, all right? Pinch of salt. A little bit of pepper. Just going to make sure that that all comes together well. Let's have a taste. Oh, yummy.
Gaz, what oil did you use in the vinaigrette?
Hazelnut oil. Check vegetables. Getting there. And what I want to happen is I want them to steam, and then I want the liquid to evaporate and be that sort of little intense emulsion around the outside. You know what I'm going to do? Because those vegetables are getting really close to finishing, I'm just going to drain that. So I'm going to turn that off and rest it through. So, pork's out of the oven and it needs time to rest.
Gary, with the resting time, essentially, what are you looking for?
You've got to think of resting time as being the time the temperature needs to equalise through the rest of the meat. So if it's a small cut, it may only take 4 minutes or so. So I'm going to chance plating up, all right? This will be interesting. It all go horribly wrong. I'm just going to cut these carrots slightly differently. So I've got a lovely lemony carrot with olive oil in the background, which is nice. I love the trimming. It's how we eat in the kitchen. So what I'm doing is just popping it in a bowl, and I'm going to put a little drizzle of that vinaigrette on. I found these little dates and I wanted to just pop them on. You know, it just reinforces the fact that, yeah, it is date. And how long have I got? A minute. George would be going, no, not so many herbs. So we gotta now test our pork and hope it's cooked.
Have you heard about the willing technique, Gary?
The willing technique?
That's where you think magical thoughts and you will it to be ready.
Can I tell you, in my 26-year career, I've willed a few things in my time.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Calm down. Stand away from your bench. Smarty pants.
So there you go. My little roasted rack of pork with braised vegetables, farro, pepitas, and a date puree. Beautiful.
Lovely.
Right, tasting time. Audra and Ben, up you come.
Yeah.
You love pork, no?
Love pork.
Okay. Now, I reckon that could have done with another minute in the oven.
Yeah.
You know, but you know what? It's okay. It's funny how George always turns up just as we're about to eat something.
Oh, look at that. 30 minutes.
30 minutes. That's the first time I've ever eaten artichokes.
Carrot, how good are real artichokes?
Oh my God.
What do you taste?
Really nice kind of mild sweetness from the dates, which goes with the pork really well. Kind of like, I guess, your apple and pork, but yeah, the dates are really yummy.
If you serve vegetables to kids like that, I think they'd eat plenty of them.
You're a big kid. Will you eat plenty of them?
I am. I would eat bowls of that.
Good stuff. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You taking that back for your buddy?
I have to. We've got a pact.
Who is it?
Oh, they're in love.
Want a bite?
You know what I reckon you should take away from it? First up, have a clear idea of the dish you're going to cook from the get-go. Even if you have to make little adjustments, the core of the dish needs to stay the same or you'll get lost. Number 2, organisation in the kitchen, multitasking. If you've got a short time to cook, getting a couple of things going in at the same time is the right way to go. It seems obvious, but under pressure, it's a different kind of thing.
Next.
We're going to be cooking salmon 2 ways and applying lots and lots of technique. Well, as amateur cooks, there's one thing that you need to know. Whenever you go away, whenever you have experiences, you need to be inspired by them. And here we are, after a great week in Tasmania. And can I tell you, standing out there on that boat, freezing cold, might I tell you, I was inspired by the pristine waters and the beautiful salmon that was being harvested in our seas.
Yeah, good one, Benny. Well done.
Good job, Ben.
We should be very proud as Australians. Amina, your dish was wonderful. Freshly sliced salmon, some vegetables, a lovely little dressing. Doesn't really get any better than that.
No, with incredible fish like that, I didn't want to tamper with the meat at all. It was just so sweet and so succulent on its own. And I did a mirin sashimi with it, and it was just perfect. Worked really well.
Right, what am I cooking today? A little entree, a little starter, and it's basically 2 styles of salmon. We're going to do a little sort of sesame bar of salmon. And we're going to make a cannelloni of smoked salmon. The actual smoked salmon is going to be the pasta. This salmon has been grown in a pristine environment. Salmon like this has beautiful bulgy eyes, not sunken in. And when you smell that, it smells salty. It smells like the sea, okay? Fish should never smell fishy, okay? If it is, it's old. The first thing we're going to do is do a little sort of sesame bar of salmon. So we've got our fillet of salmon. I leave the skin on because it gives me some strength, some stability. As you can see, top side, bottom side, belly side. We go in, we go under, and I take that off because I want to remove most of the bloodline, yeah? Okay? Then I just trim around. Next step is, we've got our Cryovac bag here. I pop that in the bag. I've got some coriander seed, a couple of them in there. And I've got a little bit of cumin seed, a little bit of salt. And we want lots of olive oil, okay? It's cooked in olive oil. Now we need to Cryovac this. All right. Now, what we've got here is a thermocirculator. It basically keeps the temperature consistent around the whole tray, okay? You want it at 38. You want it about your blood temperature. At home, pot of water, a thermometer, it's fine, okay? That goes in, and we'll probably leave that in there for, 20 minutes, and that will be lovely. Now, the next step is our cannelloni. I've got some onions finely sliced. All right, I've got a half an onion. Got 100 grams of caster sugar. And I've got 100 mils of white vinegar. Pop the lid on and just let them cook. Cook without colour, all right? We want them pickled, tender and really delicious, okay? And think about the layering of flavours here. We need some pickles, some acidity, some sweetness. Okay, so what I've got here is 150 grams of creme fraiche. You can use sour cream instead. It's just been cultured differently. Creme fraiche is delicious. And to that, I want to add some dill, all right? I don't want to see us ever chopping herbs like that. All right, that's what TV chefs do. Because what happens is, when you start doing that, your board goes green. That means all the chlorophyll and the flavour and the juiciness goes into the board. All right, so dill, pinch of salt, okay? Our onions are nearly cooked, all right? Now we need some gelatine just to hold this mixture together. So I've got 1 gold leaf gelatine. All right, we're just going to bloom that in a bit of water. Our onions are nearly cooked. Okay, so as you can see, the liquid's nearly reduced, yeah? All right, so just as it's about to reduce a little bit further, I take that, I'll pop that in, okay? A little bit of a turn. Can go straight in to our creme fraiche mixture. Okay, so into a little bag here. Any little cream puff? Come on, come and help me, yeah.
Righto. Cream
You're
puff.
good with piping bags and stuff. Right. Right, that goes in the fridge. All right, we set that. And we wait until that's set, and then we form our cannelloni.
Like this one?
Please. Okay. Now I've got this wonderful smoked salmon here. Right, so this is the important part here, right? We need to be really careful, all right? So we pipe this evenly across.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Thank you. Yum.
What are you tasting?
You can taste the dill. That's the first thing that sort of hits you, but it's quite sweet as well, the mixture.
onions.
Yeah, it's really yum.
Okay. Right, then, just gently.
Oh, it's so pretty.
We'll make sure the ends join. Into the fridge,
Easy.
and our cannelloni's done. That'll be ready in about 10-15 minutes. So I've got these lovely little cucumbers here. What I want to do is apply again some pressure to these cucumbers to give them some flavour. When you grow up, I don't know, in my lunchbox when I used to go to school, I'd get a cucumber in there, not that small, a bit bigger, yeah? And I'd always have a little bag of salt, and that was, you know, a little snack, yeah?
Think of cucumber and cheese on a sandwich.
Delicious, isn't it?
Pretty good.
All right. So I just want to sort of cut these on different angles. They go in, okay? Pinch of salt, okay? Now I want you to cry back that.
Righto.
So Julia, any idea why I would do that?
I think you want to draw some of the moisture out of the cucumber, and that's why there's salt in there as well.
Yep. Yep, fabulous, exactly that. Basically, I'm compressing that vegetable so it pulls the moisture out, then pushes the flavour in.
Will it keep the crunch?
Yeah, definitely. Right, Kylie, you can go back. Thank you so much.
Well done, cream puff.
Thanks. Well done, cream puff.
We're cooking salmon 2 ways. Salmon cooked in olive oil, or a little sort of sesame bar of salmon, and also a smoked salmon cannelloni. Okay, so our salmon cannelloni is in the fridge setting. Our salmon that's been cooked in olive oil is in our thermocirculator. That won't take long. The next step is all the little bits and bobs that I want to put on the plate. So I've got 2 things here. One of them is bacon. All I've taken is rashers of bacon, pop them in a dehydrator until they're rock hard, and then blended them up into a powder. All right? Why don't you come up Mindy, and pass some around. Dip your fingers in, have a taste. Yeah. So what I've got here is tapioca powder. It's maltose. It's a neutral flavour, but it absorbs oil, okay? So I pop a couple of spoons of that in. I put a pinch of salt. You can buy this from a health food shop, this tapioca powder, okay? And then I just move that around. Mario, you had a question?
Yeah, if you haven't got a dehydrator, what way would you go down to get that same sort of effect?
A low oven. Oven, right? And pop a spoon in the oven door, okay? To let any sort of moisture leave the oven, right? 60, 70 degrees, overnight, done. Okay. Our bacon's ready to rock and roll. Right, I'm about to pull the salmon out of the thermocirculator. Our cannelloni's been in the fridge for about 20 minutes and it's set, it's beautiful. Okay, the next step is putting this dish together. Beautiful, not overcooked. Okay, so pop the bag open. Right, and I literally just want to put that straight into the sesame seeds. Okay, right, we leave that ready to be plated up. Our cannelloni's next. Take it out of the cling film. And we just want to pop that straight into a little bit of olive oil just to give it a bit of shine. Because I want things to glisten. Right, let's plate this baby up. First things first, our cannelloni. Now, I've just got a tile here, okay? I love going to places like tile shops and, you know, hardware shops, because I find stuff that, you know, is a bit left of centre, a little bit unusual. Our cucumbers. So we've left them in there for what, 10 minutes? Now, you can add other little flavours in there if you like, you know, a bit of that dill, reintroducing that flavour, a little splash of vinegar. This is bonito. It's a type of tuna. You can buy this dried and flaked. Simple as that. All right, some of our bacon. All right, starting to come together. Now, what I've got here is some borage flowers. And these are really pretty. They're edible flowers. I've also got some dill fronds. And I've also got nasturtiums. Now, finally, pumpkin. In there, we've put some coriander seeds, some cinnamon, a little bit of vinegar and a little bit of sugar. All right? We've then popped that in a pot of boiling water and cooked that for 20 minutes. So I take it out of the bag and I drain it of that liquid. I want to cook this so I can shave it, and it's quite simple. Liquid nitrogen, 196 minus, all right? It's natural, it's real, it's not, you know, mechanical. What are you laughing at?
That's not natural, George.
Do I look hot?
Nice specs.
Okay, now you need to be really serious when you're dealing with this, and you treat it like you would boiling water, all right? It does the same damage. So that comes off, and we cook our pumpkin. Now, basically, we are cooking this pumpkin at minus 196 degrees. If I roasted this at 180 degrees in the oven, I'd lose a lot of its beautiful flavour. If I cook it at minus, I'm going to save all that flavour in there. Anyone got a wart I can get rid of? OK.
Cool.
Right, so I want to shave this like I would. See how it's turning into wood chips? So we just pick up our shaved pumpkin. Yeah, a simple little salmon dish. That's all it is. Final little touches. There you have it. That is what makes me happy. Salmon 2 ways. Right, taste time. Jules, Filippo, get up. Let's taste.
What do I eat first?
Jules, what do you reckon?
Oh my God, it just looks beautiful.
Yeah?
Absolutely amazing.
Right, off you go.
Yeah, that is amazing.
The salmon and the crunchiness of the sesame seeds and this powder.
That is unbelievable, that bacon crumb.
You dying to try some, aren't you? Come on, come up.
There
Come
it
up. Here, my darling. Push him out the way. Push him out the way. I know you want. I know you love things like smoked salmon and dill.
I do.
Here, let me feed you. Guys, you're frustrating me. Right, open wide. And then a bit of cucumber. Happiness.
That's happiness. And you're right, Jules, the bacon really sort of offsets everything and it gives it a real sort of sweetness.
Yeah.
Oh, thank
Good
you so
stuff.
much. It's
No,
delicious.
pleasure.
Unbelievable.
Thank you very much.
Well, I hope you guys picked up a few little extra techniques for your culinary backpack going into new challenges. Salmon is a wonderful protein. You just need to understand it, but cook it perfectly.
Who loves desserts?
Oh, yeah.
Is there anyone that doesn't? Who doesn't? Who doesn't love a nice dessert? Andy, you don't love a nice dessert? Sam?
Yeah, I'm not a very
Not a big fan?
sweet tooth.
No, he doesn't like it.
Why? Why is that? That's a surprise. Julia, does this make any sense to you at all? That these people don't like desserts?
I can't be friends with them.
I sort of feel the same way. It's quite... All right, well, keeping that fun in mind, we've got a special guest today who loves baking. This woman from the UK was whisked to New York when she was 16 to be a model. But thinking about a future, she decided she wanted to bake. She owns Ella's Bakehouse in Covent Garden. Please welcome to the MasterChef kitchen, Lorraine Pescale. Hello. Welcome.
How are you doing?
Welcome to the MasterChef kitchen.
Thank you very much.
I'm interested in the fact that you've got a second career. You started as a model.
Yeah, I started as a model many moons ago, and
I did too, I'll just put it out. Short, chubby class.
we were together, duo.
Yeah.
And then modelling was great, but I wanted to do something a little bit different. I started on this cordon bleu cookery course, which was a year, and I just totally fell in love with it, and so changed my career altogether.
Wow. So whose story does that relate to? It doesn't have to be the model. I'm thinking
Any
Julia.
career changes?
Yeah. I was a musician at uni. I've done 8 years of study. I was going to move to Russia.
Wow.
And threw it all away to open a cupcake stall.
Oh, snap. Good for you. Brilliant.
Thank you.
So what are we
Perfect.
cooking?
Well, it's called mojito genoise, and genoise is not an ordinary cake because there's no chemical raising agent. So amount it rises all depends on how much you whisk it up. So I'm going to make the sugar syrup first because you want the flavours to infuse. So I'm just going to put in 150 grams of soft light brown sugar, 40 ml of water, and some rum. Now you need about 80 ml. I'm going to guess. I'm going to do this by eye. And then just put it on, just really gently. We want to let the sugar dissolve first. And then we're going to add some lime zest. You seem to have beautiful limes here in Australia. Beautiful limes.
Do you need the juice from the limes as well?
Yeah, yep. Chuck in the juice, that'd be great. Thank you. And we can throw in the zest. Right, in with the lime juice. And then some mint, just a few leaves. And then that just sits there and infuses. And it'll be beautiful by the time the cake's finished. Now we're going to whisk the eggs up. So I've got 6 eggs.
So what's the secret of a genoise? Because effectively, genoise is the raising agent is the egg. So this is the crucial part. You've got to whisk it, aerate it.
This is so important. You just got to keep whisking.
You'd put shell in there.
I think that was yours, actually.
Yeah, I think it was. Now, you've got a pot of boiling water. This helps sort of start cooking the mixture, right?
There's enough, residual heat to get us going. And the thing about this is almost like a meringue. So you want to get the eggs going first, and then sort of add the sugar gently. I've got 260 grams of caster sugar, using all sorts of different sugars today, and then whisk. And you need to whisk for about 10 minutes.
Paying attention, Mo?
Yep.
Watch
Always.
the wrist action.
I'd be good at that, actually.
I've got my eye on you.
I hope so.
All right, now we're almost there. So at this stage, I'm going to lift up the bowl, get rid of that. And now I'm just going to whisk it till it's a little bit colder. Ready to go here?
Looks good. Looks excellent.
And then I'm going to lift up my whisks. And if I just drag it on the surface, see that, call it a ribbon, and it just sits on the surface. That's perfect. Right now, I've got to add 115 grams of melted butter. I'm going to pour it round the outside. If you pour it straight in the middle, it's going to knock out all the air.
Yeah.
So just going to stir it round. So just really gently folding the butter in, folding it through. So now we've got flour here, plain flour, 260 grams, 260. And again, I'm just going to shake it round the outside and put about 1/3 in. Be really patient with it. So keep scooping it around. I'm putting my last bit of flour.
Amina, you got a question?
Would you recommend sifting the flour once or double sifting the flour?
I'm terrible. I bake a lot and I never sift my flour.
Okay. No.
I mean, actually, sifting comes from old times where the flour used to be really clumpy and used to have lots of foreign bodies in it. So flour is, it doesn't really need to be sifted that much unless you want to get loads more air into it for other things. So I'm going to go with that. Pour it in. Now there's some little lumps there, so I'm just going to give it a cheeky stir. In it goes. Just hope nobody's watching when you see the lumps of flour.
Only a couple of million people.
All right. So that I'm very happy with.
So it looks fantastic. All in the cake tin. Don't forget to grease it.
Don't forget to grease
180
it.
degrees
Bit of
for
paper.
how long?
About 30 minutes.
And how do you test to see if that's cooked?
Well, funnily enough, it smells cooked. Very key. You have this lovely smell coming through the house. And of course, the old skewer or knife right in the centre should come out nice and clean.
Did you say how big Julia smiled then? Because that's how you bake, isn't it?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah?
Just by smell. And so
The
when we
smell.
have a challenge in here and there's 20 other people cooking fish and meat and chicken, it drives me nuts because I can't smell my cake.
Now next, because it's nice to have a bit of texture, a bit of crunch, so we're going to make a praline. So first, we're going to make a dry caramel. Okay, so you just want a sort of medium-ish heat. And we've got granulated sugar here, 200 grams. Just sprinkle it on an even layer. So with this dry caramel, It's important to have patience.
I think we can delegate that job. And then we
Delegate,
can
who
do
wants to
something
have
else.
a go?
Alice, because she's not looking. Come on, up you come.
Oh, no.
Got your head down? Pick me! Get up here.
So, just make sure it's right in the centre. Just a little, okay, just flick it like that. Okay.
Good, all right. So
And-
while Alice is doing that, what are we going to make? What's the next
We can
bit?
get on with the buttercream. 300 grams of butter.
Okay.
And then if you could pop the icing sugar in as well. So that's 600 grams of icing sugar. So I've got the vanilla here.
So you're just splitting that vanilla pod.
Split the vanilla pod.
There you go. Zest of 3 limes.
Smell is
It's brilliant, isn't it?
off the scale.
Along with the vanilla, they've got to be 2 of my favourites as well.
Now, with icing sugar, it tends to have a mind of its own and fly everywhere. So I'll just
Yeah,
wrap
make
it
a little
around
shroud.
and start really low.
Oh, it's really got a mind of its own.
You should see it without the towel on the top. I would turn a different colour. And turn that off. Bit of damage limitation.
So then you pop that back on, do you, until
Pop that back on.
creamy
And then you just
smooth?
let it whisk away. Even though I use a paddle, actually, not a whisk, I just find you get a nicer texture for a good 5 minutes or so.
OK, fantastic stuff.
Perfect. See that? It's a great colour. It's not too dark. You want to go with that?
Yeah.
You happy with that? OK, so you've got your pecans.
What's the ratio of nuts, Lorraine?
200 sugar and 200 nuts. OK, so put them in and then just stir them really quickly and then pour it onto that tray. And then that'll harden nicely and then you can blitz it up and we'll put this wonderful praline around the outside. Tasty.
OK, so we're making the mojito genoise. We've got our buttercream.
Yeah.
And we've got our mojito syrup for the mojito genoise.
Yes,
oh, and the praline too.
Yep. Now, well, because this cake's not ready
Yep.
and you can't really ice a cake that's hot, got another one ready to go here.
OK, so this one's been baked and cooled.
It's baked and cooled. Yeah.
Oh, it looks good, doesn't it?
So get some string and then you just make sure it's as even as possible and then just pull the string through the cake.
I love that technique. That's great. Great
Perfect.
little tip. Love it.
Right, we've got the cake stand over there and the sugar syrup, which has been infusing for ages and smells absolutely beautiful. So soak it really well, because as I say, there's not much butter in this cake, so it needs more moisture than usual. And I'll do the other one, and don't be shy with the sugar syrup, just loads and loads and loads on. Can I get you to do this while I get on with my buttercream?
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. So, a dollop in the centre, like that. Just moving it around, like that. Don't worry about it all splodging around the outside, that's completely fine. So I'm going to take the tin and just use it to stabilise the sponge. Flip it
good idea.
over, and then just put it on top. OK, so you've got the sponge soaked. I'm going to put a dollop of this on top. And it's so important that the buttercream's nice and light and fluffy, otherwise this job is pretty impossible. And with this, I just hold the knife completely straight and I sort of wiggle it around, that, and move the sides, the edges into the middle, then around the sides, completely vertical all the way around. So you want to get a nice smooth finish, and then off. So the praline is nice and hard, perfect. So we just want to whiz that up into crumbs.
It's a little...
Yeah, a bit more. Yeah, that's good. So for the praline, it would be good to have someone come up and help me put it on.
Mmm.
What do you think?
Come on, Kylie. Yeah.
Go on, Kylie.
Woohoo!
So just going to take a handful and literally, that's it.
Cool.
There's no real sexy way of doing it. You just put it on all around the side and then we'll clean it up afterwards.
Beautiful. Get in and get dirty.
Try not to get only on the top like I just have. Okay, all the way around. Yeah. Really simple, really easy, and actually fun to get your fingers in the food and get messy with it. But the texture it adds is beautiful, and that caramelised flavour, perfect.
Yes.
Kylie, thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Your job is done.
Thank
well
you.
done.
Thanks, Lorraine.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
Well done, Kylie.
I'm good at putting nuts on.
Just really simple. Section it. So, just like that. And then just pop a lime segment or...
How are you doing it? Like this? Or?
Yeah, on the side. Always looks cute, doesn't it?
Yes.
And there we have it, my mojito genoise.
Right, taste.
Yes. Yes, please.
Andy, up you come. Kylie, up you come.
Thank you.
Andy,
I will.
keep cool.
Right, that's mine.
That's pretty big, that one.
Look at that. Ready?
Yeah, gotta squeeze the lime.
Andy?
The lime is awesome, and the praline gives it that texture. I'm not a cake fan, but I think you've converted me, so...
George, huh?
Party with cake and I'm not
Lorraine,
invited.
George,
How
Lorraine.
you going?
How you doing?
You good?
Good, really good. How are you?
Geez, you're tall.
I am, aren't I?
No, it's geez, I'm short.
That's right. Oh, moist.
My mum would love this cake.
Would she?
Because it's not overly sweet and you've got the citrus flavour zinging through. It's awesome.
Delicious.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Right, guys, back to your benches.
Thank you. Can we take this?
Yeah,
Got a few extra
that's for
for.
friends.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, darling. What are you doing?
Get some praline. That's so good.
Lorraine, what are your top techniques for your perfect mojito genoise?
I would say first off would be the whisking of the sponge. So over the hot water, whisking it to the ribbon so it's really aerated, light and fluffy.
Yep.
Then I would say the folding. Really important to fold it gently and tip the ingredients around the edge so you don't knock the air out. And just fold it enough so the ingredients are incorporated, but you've still got lots of air in. And the other one would be the sugar syrup. Really important to soak a genoise. Will just give it that perfect edge.
Lorraine, Pescale, thanks so much for flying all the way from London just to come into the MasterChef kitchen to show these guys how to make the perfect genoise. Thank you so much indeed.
Pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. See you guys.
Yeah, it's been a massive week, guys. I mean, Tasmania is something that you'll never forget. Think about all the things that you've achieved. You've made flour from scratch. You ran a couple of stalls at a market. You did service for 100 people. You caught salmon. What more can I say? But let's celebrate.
Hey.
So invaluable.
Look at this.
Wow.
What are we going to get?
Oh, check it out.
Hey, Carly.
From the Salmon market.
Tuck in, tuck in.
Could I have a small
Looks
piece
delicious.
of cake?
Yeah, yum.
I'm excited. How's
Well done so far. Great job.
Cheers.
Cheers to the coming week.
Cheers, chick.
Next time on MasterChef Australia.
Today's ingredient is something that humans have been eating for about 10,000 years.
The mystery box reveals one special ingredient with endless possibilities.
We all love them.
They're having a laugh, aren't they?
Then, seafood king Rick Stein returns to set the challenge.
Rick Stein's in the building. Of course it's going to be seafood.
For an invention test of global proportions.
It's so interesting, this challenge. Heaven knows how it's going to end up.
And the team who fails to conquer their cuisine will be up for elimination.
1 minute to go!
I don't actually know if I'm going to be able to pull this off.